Hey everyone, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Day in Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. Today, Friday, I basically worked all day on the bitchin' 68 bus, and as you can see, the motor is out again. I've had this motor in and out of this car more times than I care to try and count. Just tons of mock-up on this car. Again, because of the fuel injection system and the air conditioning system, and just making sure everything's gonna fit. But I think the motor, next time it goes in, I think it's gonna be going in for good. So we'll see about that. I don't know. It could be one more mock-up, but I think I'm at the point now where whatever I do on the motor is gonna be kind of like the final doing of whatever it is, if that makes any sense, and then we'll bolt it to the transmission and plug her in. So just really trying to wrap up all the loose ends here, no pun intended, and get things ready for that final install. So I talked to the gentleman that runs Gilmore Enterprises, who's making my air conditioning system. He was going to ship the rest of the AC system today or tomorrow, so I should have that mid next week, and that'll include the stuff I don't have now. So right now I've got kind of the motor side of things. He's supposed to ship the hoses that go from the compressor to and from the compressor, the condenser, the evaporator, all that stuff. And so today, with that being the case, I went ahead and after I got the motor out, I went ahead and drilled out and put in these two grommets here, which are where the hoses to and from the compressor are going to run from the engine compartment to under the body. So got those ready. Did some other little things that I just hadn't done yet because it didn't seem necessary at the time, but now that I'm hoping to get this motor in here for good, went ahead and ran the positive cable here for the one that goes to the battery and to the starter through its grommet. Probably can't necessarily see, but I touched up the paint on this lip right here. Customer supplied paint for this car in a rattle can, which is super awesome. So I touched up that. I had to cut off, those of you that haven't been around long, there's basically like a shelf that sticks out here where the stock air cleaner kind of sits on there, and then it's got a snorkel that runs over to the motor. Anyway, I had to cut that thing off because we got a big old fuel injection throttle body over here. So touched up the paint on that cut edge there. And what else? Yeah, grounded the tail lights, put these in on both sides. Just a lot of little details that are much easier to do when the motor's out. Added the ground strap here for the battery. All that sort of stuff that, again, much easier to do when the motor's out. So just trying to tie up all those loose ends. The other thing that I did was worked on plumbing of the oil cooler, which I installed yesterday. So yesterday I got it all mounted up underneath there. Where is it? There it is. And started plumbing it today. I get my AN fittings from AJ over at Low Bucket, and sadly he was short a couple, so I need another right angle one for right there, and then I can finish hooking those up. And then on this end, the motor end, I need one more 45 for right there, and then I need to come up with some kind of brackets or clamps that's going to kind of hold this up on the inside of the frame, so it'll be nice and neat. So yeah, kind of tucked up underneath the frame. Again, the oil filter is up under here. These go to and from the motor and run sort of up over the torsion housing, and then under the car, about the middle of the car, and then comes through, and then ultimately up to the cooler right there. And then I still need to wire a relay in for the cooler, so probably go ahead and do that before the motor goes in. And what else? Yeah, I think was kind of my day, just working on, again, trying to get this motor ready to go in for good here. The other thing that I started working on was his heat system. So he did want heat on this car. So it's got high flow heater boxes. So these have a much bigger tube inside them than the stock ones, which are quite restrictive. The motor's a 2110, needs to breathe. So we got high flow heater boxes. The issue is that with a header like this, it's not really compatible so much with heater boxes, because normally the heater box connects to this sort of, I don't know, I like to call it this like heart-shaped thing that sits about right here on a stock exhaust system, and that in turn connects to the heater box, and then from there you go with the paper hoses up to the shroud. But anyway, so CSP, the guys in Germany, make these kind of adapters that are meant to hook up to heater boxes when you're running an aftermarket header. And they're pretty nice pieces, but it's taken a bit of work to make them fit. I mean, I understand they can't really make them that fit every possible header. And so with this A1 Sidewinder, it's a bit of a challenge. I'll get them to work, but it's taking some time to get them to kind of make this bend here. So this side I have about ready, and I'm gonna put a hose clamp here. I had to actually slit the bottom in 4 pieces to kind of get it to even make this this turn here. You can see how it's got to make a pretty tight transition here. So I put slits in it, but then I'll put a hose clamp around it to kind of seal it onto the neck of the heater box. Likewise, this side is probably going to be even more of a struggle, because you can kind of see the angle that this thing is coming in here, just again because of the header. So keep tweaking the hose as much as I can, and then like I did on the other side, I'll put some slits on the bottom of this to get it to kind of more easily make that turn, and then I'll get it to seal with a hose clamp. So it'll be fine. But yeah, it's just one of those things, these custom applications like this, hot rods, you know, got a pile of parts that aren't necessarily compatible with each other, and then it's on the builder to make them all work together. So that's what I'm doing. But it's definitely getting there. I told the owner there's light at the end of the tunnel here, especially since I think we're okay with the front suspension and brakes. I do still need to get those brake lines replacements for the front, but I think we're actually okay with the front, because that was potentially going to be slowing us down and costing the customer a bit more. But after we found out the front spindles and brakes were from Russ at Old Speed, we're quite comfortable with that setup, and it looks like it's going to clear as far as not needing a lower beam. So thank goodness that ended up working out. So now pretty much back to focusing on the motor, and transmission is basically ready to go in. I think I've got to put the throwout bearing on it, literally, is the only thing it needs, and it needs oil. But yeah, so in the not too distant future, wrap up what's going on here with the air conditioning and the heating and everything, bolt the transmission to it, and then pretty much again on these it goes in as an assembly kind of from the bottom ish. And yeah, this thing is gonna be done in maybe a month or two. I don't know. We'll see. There's still a lot of work to do, so probably closer to the 2 months than 1 month. But I am fairly focused on it at this point, because I want to get this bitchin' thing to its owner. He's had a very long journey with this bus. I think he's at about the 5-year point now. It's been in our shop, I think maybe, I don't know, 7 months or something like that, maybe 8. But prior to that, it went around to different shops and sat a lot, and a lot of stuff didn't get done, and so on and so forth. So he wants his toy. He's getting kind of fatigued of the whole project, but I told him, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and he agreed, let's keep going and get this thing together so they can start enjoying it. And so we're going to make that happen for him. Other than that, not much to really show, but Jacob did come in this afternoon and did a bunch of disassembly there on the 69 bay window, which again you can't see because it's got a cover on it. But he pulled off all the side trim, he pulled the bumpers off, he pulled the headlights off, He pulled the front turn indicators off, windshield wipers. Might have been a couple other little things, but yeah, we're pretty much starting on the outside of the car, removing things, and then once the outside of the car is done, we'll probably turn our attention to the inside and start removing upholstery and all that stuff. And the goal, getting it ready to the point where we would actually start body work on it. So yeah, anyway, keeping it moving here. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. However, tomorrow there will be an episode. There might even be a couple videos tomorrow. So tomorrow we have a 54 right-hand drive barn door combi coming all the way from the state of Hawaii. The owner actually put the bus on a plane and he's flying it over. Super cool guy, Andy. He's flying his bus over, and we're going to do a number of things on it. Some stuff with the motor, brakes, I think transmission, maybe some electrical work, maybe some cool accessories. So that one is arriving at LAX tomorrow morning. So I may try and shoot a video of us like picking this bus up from the airport, because I just think the whole thing's kind of cool. And then once we get it back in the shop, we'll film that too, unloading it and moving it in here. And then I don't know, depending on how long that process takes, I don't know if I'm actually going to be getting any actual work done in the shop or not. So there may or may not be a day in the life episode tomorrow, but at minimum, there'll be some video footage of bringing this 54 barn door bus in. So one way or another, I will see you guys tomorrow. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.